Welcome to Animal Atlas. Come with us around the globe and explore the animal world and its jungle animals and desert creatures. We'll meet wildlife on the savannah and see our underwater friends. And animals from the Arctic Circle. Anywhere, everywhere animals live. It's always an adventure. Today on Animal Atlas, we're going to splash down into the world of aquatic mammals and have a whale of a good time. Are you ready? Aquatic mammals include everybody from the pinnipeds, like seals, and sea lions, to the cetaceans, like whales, and dolphins, to the sirenias, like the gentle manatee. These animals aren't fish, though they often share the same aquatic habitat. And though the resemblance, say, between a shark and a dolphin is pretty remarkable, the dolphin has far more in common with us than it does with this formidable predator of the deep. Okay, we've got aquatic down, but what about mammal? All mammals, which includes dolphins, are warm-blooded, just like these familiar faces. That leaves out cold-blooded reptiles. And cold-blooded fish, no matter how warm-hearted they seem to be. Most mammal females give birth to live young and nurse them with milk from their bodies, which eliminates our favorite nest-building egg layers. Though their blood is warm. Mammals breathe oxygen with lungs, and not gills. And all mammals have hair on their bodies. Yes, though these seals look hairless, if we look closely, we can see that they are sporting sleek fur coats. Hey, a dolphin has hair? Yes. And so do whales. Maybe not much, and maybe little more than a flimsy mustache, but these warm-blooded aquatic mammals probably evolved from furry land mammals with 4 legs. We humans often like to imagine that life forms preferred land to the sea and evolved accordingly. But in reality, there's lots of good food to be found out there. The ocean is nothing if not bountiful. And plenty of animals have adapted to take advantage of the seafood. The polar bear has certainly figured out that the best eaten in the Arctic is in the water. This animal's adaptation to a marine environment includes webbed front paws, like we might find on a water-dwelling duck. This is something we won't find on a forest-dwelling black bear, no matter how much he likes the water. Looking at aquatic mammals, it almost seems as if we have caught them midway on their evolutionary path. From animals that can still easily venture onto land, like the sea lion, to those who find it a little more difficult, like the gray seal, or the harbor seal, or the humongous elephant seal, to those animals who no longer set foot on the shore, like the manatee, unless terra firma is underwater, to the dolphin, and the whale. Mammals whose relationship with land is generally limited to visiting a favorite trainer at the water's edge. Those flippers might be made for walking, but those sure aren't. Let's start with the most confirmed water dwellers, the cetaceans. Can you spell it for us, please? Thank you. Cetaceans include porpoises, whales, and dolphins. The word cetacean comes from the Latin word cetus, meaning large sea animal, and the Greek word ketos, meaning sea monster. There are more than 80 species of cetaceans recognized, and this group of animals includes some of the most beloved animals on Earth. Seeing that our planet is, after all, more than 70% water. You knew that, didn't you? From the bottlenose dolphin with a perpetual gleam in its eye, to the lively and acrobatic Pacific white-sided dolphin, to the always smiling beluga whale. The cetaceans are mammals to admire. What makes a cetacean a cetacean? For one thing, there's the blowhole. A cetacean can't extract oxygen from the water, the way a fish does with its gills. So it rises to the surface at regular intervals to breathe air. That special breathing hole at the top of the animal's head is called a blowhole, for reasons that are obvious if you watch long enough. Blowholes are simply external openings to a cetacean's nasal passages, much like our nostrils. Though dolphins look like they have long noses, like any number of familiar snout-bearing animals, this long snout is actually a beak. See? No nostrils. What's a beak used for in cetacean world? In the case of this dolphin, for housing 2 rows of 23 to 32 rounded teeth. And in case you're wondering, these lovely teeth are not for chewing, since dolphins swallow fish whole. Teeth like these are used for seizing and holding prey. Not all cetaceans have a long beak, however, as our beluga friend will tell us. This animal does have fewer teeth than his fellow marine mammal, but he more than makes up for it with that bigger forehead. When we come back to Animal Atlas, we'll meet some more aquatic mammals. But first, let's see if you can guess this animal fact. The beluga whale's forehead is called A. Melon. B. Muffin. C. Memory box. Or D. Beluga. The answer coming up when we return to Animal Atlas. We're back. Did you guess the right answer to our question? The beluga whale's forehead is called a... The answer is A. Melon. No, not a melon like a cantaloupe. This dolphin's forehead is also called a melon, but it's the beluga's prominent and protruding melon that is so remarkable looking. A cetacean's melon plays a part in echolocation, which is how most whales and dolphins build up a picture of their surroundings using sound. They make noises that bounce back from nearby objects, letting the animal know the object's distance, size, and shape, in much the same way bats locate objects in the dead of the night. No fish has a melon. Not even a cantaloupe. While a beluga whale can be identified by his sizable and expressive melon, the Pacific white-sided dolphin is recognizable by its sleek, racing stripe tricoloring. These dolphins have been nicknamed lags after their scientific name, Lagonorhynchus obliquidens, since Pacific white-sided dolphin is just too much of a mouthful to say all the time.
Pacific white-sided dolphin, Pacific white-sided dolphin, Pacific white-sided dolphin, Pacific white-sided dolphin.
These athletic animals can leap effortlessly to heights of 15 to 20 feet, turn somersaults, or perform belly flops with a tremendous splash. By contrast, the beluga whale is a much slower moving animal, and it can't leap out of the water like the airborne lags. But the beluga can do something most whales can't do: nod and turn its head. Where other whales have a fused neck vertebrae, the beluga's 7 neck vertebrae are free and flexible. Most cetaceans practice spy hopping, which is when the animal pokes its head above the water for a look around. But only the beluga can spy hop and neck swivel simultaneously. Viewed eye to eye, the beluga is a charmer. But okay, viewed from a distance, the beluga looks a bit like a floating white cigar. A 16-foot, 3,000-pound floating white cigar, to be precise. This animal is primarily in the Arctic, and its coloring is excellent camouflage. Its white skin makes it almost indistinguishable from floating blocks of ice. Something is missing on the beluga whale. Can you see what it is? Let's compare our beluga to our dolphin. The beluga whale has no fin on its back. That's right, because it has no dorsal fin, the beluga can swim freely under floating ice. Instead of a fin, it has a narrow ridge running down the rear half of its back. See how we can spot the lags in the water because of their dorsal fins? The beluga undulates at the surface, making it look like, well, a sea monster. First, it rises toward the surface at a shallow angle. Then the rounded forehead breaks the surface. A part of the rounded back appears only briefly, and it's gone. This is the best way to travel in the frigid Arctic waters. Dorsalless and white as ice. The Pacific white-sided dolphin, on the other hand, steadfastly avoids Arctic waters in favor of the temperate coastal waters of the North Pacific, where it's free to...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we present you the trapeze artist without a trapeze, the amazing Pacific white-sided dolphin!
Not to be outdone by the amazing cetaceans, the pinnipeds, too, can be outstanding performers. Unlike cetaceans, however, pinnipeds divide their time between the ocean and the land. Here, in the cove and at the beach, harbor seals rest and play in the surf, while northern elephant seals actually haul out onto the shore for a nice nap in the sunny sand. Scientists divide pinnipeds into 3 groups, including eared seals, walruses, and true seals. Who's an eared seal? The sea lion, of course. See that small flap of skin over the sea lion's ear hole? That makes this animal an eared seal, as opposed to the true seals, like the gray seal or the harbor seal. Eared seals can also waddle or gallop on land and stand up, like this, on their front flippers. Sea lions swim much like this polar bear does, using their front flippers to propel themselves forward and their back flippers to steer. True seals propel themselves forward with their back flippers and use their front flippers for steering and balance, which means they swim in a fashion much more like the cetaceans than a sea lion. Though elephant seals can prop up their huge necks in almost sea lion fashion, these true seals can only undulate onto shore in a belly-flopping movement. These giant seals pair off in...
The Battle of the Beach! It's the World Heavyweight Championship bout for title of Beach Behemoth. In this sand dune corner, weighing 5,000 pounds on a 13-foot frame is... Wait a minute, it's a brawl! Combatants on the sand, combatants in the surf. Everywhere you look, it's elephant seals in battle!
When we come back to Animal Atlas, we'll find out what these elephant seals are actually doing. But first, let's see if you can guess this next animal fact. The greatest size difference between a male and a female of the same animal species is thought to be in A. Beluga whales, B. Dolphins, C. Manatees, or D. Elephant seals. Don't go away. The answer coming up right after this on Animal Atlas. We're back. Did you guess the right answer to our question? The greatest size difference between a male and a female of the same animal species is thought to be in... The answer is D. Elephant seals. Here's a male elephant seal. Here's a female elephant seal. He weighs close to 5,000 pounds. She weighs a svelte 2,000 pounds, which makes her less than half his size. But size is probably not the first thing you notice about these animals. It's that trunk-like snout that is really striking. Yes, sea lions have almost dog-like snouts and whiskers. And the gray seal has a handsome Roman profile. But the elephant seal has a snout like, well, an elephant's trunk. But only the male elephant seal has this elephantine nose with the long, flabby tip. Not only is this attractive to mates, but when these snouts are inflated, the elephant seal's call can be heard several miles away. What does it sound like? A little like this. This isn't unique in the animal kingdom. Siamangs have inflatable throat sacs to aid them in their song. But the elephant seal uses his voice to challenge rivals during mating season.
The Battle of the Behemoths of the Beach continues. A resounding chest blow, hacking and slashing with sharp teeth. Wait, The challenger is being herded to the surf. He's losing ground. It's over. Meet the champion of the beach.
Actually, these fights are rarely fatal. The big bulls pair off and do battle. But their antics aren't even enough to wake up the sleeping cows. And when the battle's done, all differences are forgotten. Were you worried? No reason to be. Harbor seals are also true seals, but they're much smaller than the elephant seal behemoths of the beach. Adult male harbor seals are about 5 to 6 feet long and weigh between 150 and 375 pounds. They live along the shorelines and like to rest on sandbanks, beaches, reefs, and protected tidal rocks. They can be found in waters all over the globe, including off the coasts of the Atlantic and the Pacific United States, the Baltic Sea, Japan, Greenland, Norway, and Portugal. These animals are both agile and playful, and intensely curious about the world around them. In the wild, harbor seals might well be seen in the company of the gray seal, though these seals aren't as common as the harbor seal. Though, as true seals, the gray seal and the harbor seal have no external ears, they do have functioning ears, and hear just fine. Maybe not as well as someone with powers of echolocation, but unlike cetaceans, seals do have a sense of smell. Sorry, but you lost your sense of smell when you gained a blowhole. Seals also have long whiskers called vibrissae, which allow them to feel prey movement. What kind of prey? Fish, of course. They will happily eat cod and herring, as well as octopus and squid, or whatever tasty fish treat is in that bucket. Seals have great vision, especially underwater, and they can dive to depths of 600 feet and can stay underwater for nearly 20 minutes. Amazing! All the aquatic mammals we've met so far have one thing in common, whether pinniped or cetacean. They are all carnivores and eat meat in the form of some kind of fish. And they all live in temperate or cold water, though not necessarily the frigid waters that the beluga whale favors. Want to meet an aquatic mammal that is truly in a class all its own? This is the manatee, a mammal who lives in fresh water in the warm coastal waters of rivers, bays, and estuaries. Manatees can even live in salt water too, but they seem to prefer waters like these. Why aren't these fish afraid of this giant creature in their habitat? Because the manatee, unlike the whales, dolphins, and pinnipeds, is herbivorous. It eats submerged, floating, emergent of shoreline vegetation. Fish is not on the manatee's menu. In the same way that dolphins use their tails, called flukes, to propel themselves along underwater, the manatee uses its giant paddle-like tail to propel itself along. But watch this. In shallow water, the manatee uses its flippers to walk along the sandy bottom. Manatees never go far from the water's surface, and they come up for air usually every 5 minutes. In the same way that a cetacean's blowhole squeezes shut when it dives, the manatee closes its nostrils so that water doesn't flood its nasal passages. When sailors thought they saw mermaids, this was the animal they saw. In fact, the manatee's order is called Sirenia because siren is another word for mermaid. Who is the manatee most closely related to? Not any of our cetaceans or pinnipeds. As extraordinary as it sounds, the manatee's closest relative is the elephant, another herbivorous giant. Sorry, elephant seal, that's the truth. Aquatic mammals? What a wonderful group they are.
From the acrobat
To the gladiator.
to the giant on land,
To the surfer.
To the salad eater. To the comedian. It's been a whale of a good time. For more fun animal facts and news, visit our website at www.animalatlas.tv. See you there. Don't go away. Animal Atlas will be right back. Until next time on Animal Atlas.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Phil.
People out there?
Yep, people.
Ring around the rosy. I'm dizzy.
Got him.
To be or not to be?
Bubbles.
And they're off as they round the first turn. The zebra's in the lead because no one else is racing.
Darling, alone at last.
Tag, you're it.
Once again, we've traveled the globe from North and South America to Africa and Asia to Australia and every fascinating place in between. We've met all kinds of incredible animals and learned some important facts about their ability to survive and flourish on our planet. And with our help, we'll make sure they're around for a long time to come. Join us next week for another amazing adventure on Animal Atlas.